I think $100 a month for food be enough.
What? That's impossible.
If you can't keep it down to 100 do, I'll divorce you.
That's not possible.
Are you the type of person who thinks impossible from the start and doesn't try? I didn't think you were such a pathetic person.
I suddenly got angry when he said that. I said, okay, I will spend no more dollars per month on food. My name is Mary, a 29-year-old house. My husband, Kevin, and I celebrated our first wedding anniversary last month. We met at a party, started dating, married about a year later.
He told me, I want you to be a stay wife after we get married. 33.
So I quit my job and became a house. I loved my job, but my new life with my husband was more important to me. So I became a housewife without hesitation. After getting married, we had happy. Every day I made lunch for my husband and cooked elaborate meals for dinner.
I was very happy that my husband in cooking saying Mary's cooking is delicious. 33.
At that time, he always finished his work on time and came home. So we got along well and had happy together. Recently, however, he seemed to be busier at work and he started coming in later and later. He usually came home after 0 p.m. Recently, it's often after 0 p.m. He was working more and more, but it also meant that the increased workload was becoming increasingly expected of him by his boss. And especially on Friday, he goes drinks with his boss and comes home late. I felt lonely, but my husband's work makes our lives better, so I can't complain. So I worked harder to make better that my husband can enjoy them. I made it so elaborate that it looked like an expensive restaurant meal, so I decided to make the same meal for myself too. I felt as if we were having a meal by eating it around his break time.
I hoped he would feel better, even if only a little.
He seemed to have noticed the change.
You've been making me gorgeous lunch lately. Everything tastes great.
He said happily when he came home. That made me so happy. After that, I continued to work hard on making lunch for him. Cooking had become my hobby. I took pictures of my lunchbox every day and posted them on a social networking site. I had only a few friends and followers, but the number of likes and follows kept increasing. I had never seen anything like this, so I was very surprised. I saw a few comments asking for recipe recommendations, so I'll start posting detailed recipes here. Then some people actually tried the recipe and said, my husband said it was delicious. And I put it in my son's lunchbox and he said he wanted to eat it again. I thought, if I try cooking it, this will taste even better. Or maybe using less of this spice will bring out the sweetness of the ingredients. As I continued to cook with these ingredients, I created quite a few recipes. I never thought I would have a new my age. My husband was as busy as ever with working overtime or on holidays, so home less and less. But when I was studied nutrition and became a certain, so I was not as lonely as I thought be. Time flew by so quickly, and 2 years have passed since I got married to my husband.
I thought it was time to have a baby, so I talked to him about it, but he just said, well, maybe.
My husband's reaction was surprising. I remember telling him that we wanted children before we got married. Does he think he wants kids, but at not the right time yet? Or did his thought change? I was a little sad because I felt one weren't communicating well with each a couple. I feel like my husband is not as in me as he used to be.
Even when I want to make love with says, sorry, I'm tired.
He stopped talking about the lunch. I wondered if we'd grown weary of marriage, and I began to feel lonely. Then one day he made a surprising,
Mary, don't you always make too elaborate lunches?
"What?"
Don't call it wasting money.
Besides, I don't spend so much money. I use reasonably priced ingredients, yummy lunches.
That's impossible. You would have to spend a lot more money on making lunches that look and taste that good.
No, that's not true. Just a little ingenuity and preparation can make a big difference in taste.
Don't lie. You always take photos of the lunches you make and post them on Sends, don't you?
I didn't think my husband knew that, but he didn't seem to have seen everything.
Stop thinking about making it look on Sons. It's embarrassing that my wife spent that money to get lots of likes. I can't allow my earnings to be used to satisfy your need for approval.
Why do you say that? I don't use Sends for that. At first, I was just uploading photos because I thought they looked good. But now I'm trying to see how good I can make them look and taste good with reasonable effort, so that people can easily copy them. No matter how much I tried to explain it to my husband, he just wouldn't understand.
No need for excuses.
What? Was stunned. $100 for 2 people. My husband rarely cooks, so he has how much groceries cost. I also need to buy drinks, seasoning, and soon it's impossible to keep it down to dollars. Wait, that's impossible.
Why not? You've been cooking for a long time, you. If so, you should be able to do that. If you can't keep it lower than 100, I'm divorcing you.
What? Divorce? You're crazy? I couldn't understand why my husband mean to me. He used to be so kind. Why had he changed? It's not fair. You should tell me something you don't like about me. Don't make impossible demands on me. I tried to make him understand, but wouldn't listen to me.
You're the kind of person who thinks impossible from the start, aren't you? I knew you were cooking to satisfy for approval.
And I said, all right. Then $100 a month.
Then you won't complain, will you?
No, just do it.
I didn't care that he had changed I decided to focus on the mission to food budget lower than $100. From then on, I put a lot of energy cooking. Instead of buying retort foods and made my own food from scratch using and other ingredients, I also searched supermarkets and for cheap meat, vegetables, pasta, and drinks, bought them in bulk, and them. In this way, I succeeded in keeping my expenses under 100. But my husband didn't even ask me results. I was so disappointed by that. But if he brings up expenses again, I will continue to keep my food budget under 100. And I wanted to enjoy that, so I made a Mac project on Sends about 2 people's 100-month food budget like. As before, I would post recipes so people could copy what I was doing money. I saw a comment that people wanted video of the cooking, so I started videos of a brief summary of the cook process on Send. The response was surprisingly positive. The number of subscribers to my scenes increased rapidly, and I was able to the channel in a short time. I was surprised at how amazing they become. The more people who watched my videos, the more motivated I was to keep going and develop more recipes. Then my husband said he would go on business trip for 3 days the week. I thought, then I won't have to planned to go to my parents' house. My parents' house was far away and have to fly there, so I immediately booked a plane ticket, and the day came quickly, and my husband left the house in the morning with his case. He said he would go to his office, go to the airport. I also went to the airport with my little after he left. My luggage was small enough to fit into a backpack, so I was able to leave quickly. When I arrived at the airport, I had a cup of coffee at a cafe while reading comments on videos on social media. Then I heard my husband's voice in place. I immediately recognized his voice because I was used to hearing it. I looked towards the voice and saw him standing in front of the cafe. I was about to call out to him when a strange woman walking beside him, and she was holding his arm as if they were intimate. I couldn't take my eyes off them. That was definitely my husband. Was he having an affair? Was it a lie that he was on business? I couldn't believe what was happening and froze there for a while. The time for my flight had come, so back to my parents' house with a bittersweet feeling. My parents greeted me warmly, but they noticed my sad face and asked me what's happened.
They were so angry with my husband. What a bastard.
After that, I felt better and in joy there. My mother's cooking was delicious. Fondly remembered how I had tried my cook like her when I first started my own. After relaxing there, I returned home immediately and requested a detective to investigate my husband. It was good. I had lots of advertising. A few weeks later, they found out that my husband was having an affair. The woman was apparently a junior CC at work, and apparently their relationship going on for about 6 months. It was around the time when my husband started working overtime and weekends. Did he tell me to save money on food he was spending too much money on? I felt furious. He told me to do a crazy mission because he just wanted to spend more money on it. I decided to get back at him. The next day, I stopped cooking for.
He said, "Hey, where's my lunch?"
It's hard to keep a food budget low $100, so I stopped cooking. I gave him $2.
What am I supposed to buy with?
You can buy a cheap hamburger.
You've got to be kidding me. I can't fill my stomach with that. Even if the food budget is $100 a month, I could use more.
Well, you could do that if you eat fries every night.
You've got to be kidding me. Oh gee, I keep eating unhealthy food like...
But dinner would have to be under 100 to keep the 100 limit in place, including lunch. It's already 85, and we have to keep our drink bill dollars for 30 days. My husband finally seemed to understand how difficult it was to keep the food budget within 100.
Wait a minute. So all the lunches and dinners you making have cost over $100?
No, I kept it within $100, tried really hard.
So why don't you just continue to do?
I don't want to. You won't be my husband anymore. That's why I told you how to keep your expenses under 100 without sacrificing quality.
What? What do you mean?
I showed him divorce papers.
Divorce? Why all of a sudden?
I've been preparing for this since you were having an affair. When I said this, my husband's face paled.
What do you mean by affair?
Don't act innocent. I showed him the photos which proved affair, and I said, I have an investigation to do, got proof. Now you cannot lie to me, so I demand compensation money from you. My husband was stunned by his mother's death, but then he said,
I may have had an affair, but you'll be in trouble if we get divorced. You are a housewife, and if you suddenly become single, you wouldn't be able to get enough money to live, would you? Your parents' house is very far, too. It would be better to forgive me for stay married.
I'm appalled and said, actually, I'm pretty good income right now.
What?
I'm getting all kinds of business from networking sites. I've been getting a lot of ad revenue from my videos, and I'm also publishing a money-saving recipe blog.
A recipe book. You're publishing,
To be honest, I'm making more money right now, so it won't be a problem for me to get divorced.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
My husband seemed shocked by the fact that his income was less than a full-time worker he had looked down upon. He nodded and couldn't talk anymore. Anyway, fill in the divorce papers. Then I left the house with the luge packed beforehand. After that, I communicated with my ex-husband through an attorney and got a divorce. My husband and his adulterous partner paid me consolation money. As for this affair, my husband and mutual acquaintance at his workplace quickly spread throughout the company. Apparently, my ex-husband is being quite coldly, saying that he is an S betraying his wife who made him lunches every day. The adulterous partner couldn't bear situation and quit the company. My ex-husband is having a hard time. He has to pay alimony and child support to the adulterous partner, cannot quit his job, and is working reduced hours. I, on the other hand, have moved into a studio apartment with a small kitchen and, comfortable. My recipe book has been successfully published and sales are going well. I would like to continue cooking dishes and enjoying my life.
It's honestly too much to ask to keep food costs for two people lower than $16 a month. And the reason why he asked for that
was because he wanted money to buy things for his adulterous partner, which is just too much. But thanks to such a scumbag husband who forced me into cooking and even published a cookbook, I learned how to make some really great dishes. Now that she can earn enough money to own her own home, she can slowly start looking for a part-time job. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if. See you in the next video.